Welcome everybody, this is Zero to Hero Golf, and at the range today I took some videos, I always do. You'll see right here that I'm practicing half swings, and what I want you to notice is, if you watch just before I bring the club down, my hips actually tuck a little bit under and I almost sit a little bit. See that? Kind of just a sitting motion. And then as I move forward through the swing, my pelvis will thrust up a little bit and down the target line. The other thing is the hands actually stay in front of the club head for as long as possible. Stay out in front and kind of be hitting up. Now this is true for every club in the bag except for the driver, but even the driver, you can keep your hands in front of that club head just as long as the club head passes the hands just before we get to impact. So I really working hard and the dividends are starting to pay off. This motion right here, I haven't been able to replicate this into full swing yet, but it's coming. It's going to happen. And I can see that my lead leg needs a little bit more straightening and a little bit more rotation of the pelvis. So now we're going to look at the real swing. That's what I'm looking for right there, if I can get it. Baby fade crushed. Yeah. The back of the green again. Okay. So you can hear me there. I said crushed. Well, it certainly wasn't Dustin Johnson crushed by any means, but I literally picked up about 20 yards, maybe even 25 yards on my driver. Just amazing. And it kind of happened by accident. It's nice when things happen like that. I've been working very hard at the range with swing speed training, and when I got home last week, a few days back, I was so sore and so tired from training that later on that night I was in my front room swinging the club, but my hands and my forearms were so tired I could barely grip the club, and so my grip was really, really light. I was just holding onto the club very lightly. So when I took the club back at the top of my backswing and I began to transition to the downswing, I felt my wrists set real deep, almost like your hands are folding back onto your forearms, both hands. And I had a big aha moment. And I realized from that point on that for me, what worked and what continues to work is a very light grip at setup. And I don't tighten my grip until just before I'm going to pull the trigger and start the downswing. And really, to be honest with you, I don't even have to make a conscious decision to do it. The body just does it. The brain just tells the hands, okay, you got to clamp onto the grip now because otherwise the club's going to start moving around in your hand. Now my grip is really, really light, but that doesn't mean the club is flopping around in my hands by any means. It's just really light, all the way up to the top of the backswing. And then as the downswing begins to happen, lag happens. The wrists set. There's a very acute angle to the wrists. And it's amazing. I literally picked up, like I said, about 20 yards on the driver. Just amazing. Now, the other thing that I discovered that works really well for me, if you look at this picture in front of you here, what you're going to notice is my trailing arm, the one that's bent, is the back of the arm is not touching the side of my body. This is in the backswing, right? Not the downswing. We're looking at the backswing. So you'll notice my elbow and the back of my arm where the tricep area is, none of it's touching my body. And the elbow's bent, whatever, 45 degrees there. But this club is laid off a little too much more than I'd like, but we'll get to that later, one thing at a time. So a nice, big, wide takeaway. Don't let your trailing arm touch your body. Keep your grip really, really light, like almost to the point where it's ridiculously light. And the reason why that worked for me is because it kept my wrist from getting too tense. So with the grip being really light, the wrists are really loose. And then in the beginning of the downswing, the grip will automatically tighten. And the more you come down in your downswing, the tighter that grip's going to get because there's a lot of force going on there. but by then the lag has already been created. And I was flying and carrying the ball with my driver about 227, maybe even 230 a few times, which is just a massive improvement from 200 to 205. I mean, I literally picked up 25 yards. So really cool. So anyway, I hope you really enjoyed the video today. Please subscribe, click that notification bell, follow me along as this swing keeps getting better and better. Talk to you again real soon.